So there is a beautiful story about a family with two sons in Luke chapter 15. You probably already know what I'm talking about. It seems like this agrarian family was a wealthy family. In the olden days, agrarian families were wealthy because of what they were able to produce and sell. So, one fine day, the tempestuous, handsome, youngest son came to his father and said, I have been helping you in all kinds of ways and doing my best for the family business. But I feel like exploring the world and experience what others have been talking about. I feel very confined here in the farm. So I have decided to venture out and experience the Hollywood scene and the Las Vegas and travel to New York City. I heard in the big cities, people don't go to sleep. They say whatever happens in Las Vegas stays in Las Vegas. So please give me my portion of the family inheritance now, so that I may leave soon and smell the glamour of the big city life. That's a very contemporary version. So, gracious father thought and said, this is not a bad idea. Sure, you need to experience the big city life and maybe learn how people are doing businesses in the big cities. Maybe we can upgrade our dairy and farming businesses to feed the big city people. Well, thereafter, father handed the younger son family wealth set aside for him. The young man packed his duffel bag, loaded on his Harley Davidson motorcycle, and rode away. Once in the big city, he was mesmerized with bright, colorful lights and lifestyle of the rich and famous. Something that he had not seen in the rural world. Alluring glamour of the big city seduced him very quickly. He gained friends. Partying never ended. He had nothing to worry about milking cows and harvesting corn. His rhythm of life was different. Soon, his fat wallet had gotten flatter. His duffel bag emptier. Soon his parting friends had disappeared, leaving him homeless and hungry. He decided to return home and truly, fervently beg his father to forgive him and to accept him and consider him as one of his hired men. But of course, his father was elated and celebrated the return of his son. Rather than disciplining him, his father decided to throw a big party. Right? Invited friends and family to come and feast because the son who was lost is now found. So now his life is back to his agrarian life, doing the same thing over and over again, and month pass, year pass, and he's beginning to rethink. He's remembering his city life. He's thinking about what a fun and pleasure it was to be in the cities where people never go to sleep. He is thinking, chapter 2, maybe if I go again and come back repentant, with penitent heart, maybe my father will accept me again and forgive all my goof-ups. And then maybe he's also thinking, maybe this time around I will plan a little better so that my fat wallet don't go flatter quickly. And maybe I will pick and choose how I party and where I party so that I don't become homeless again. That is chapter 2. That is not in the Bible. Just making it up. But think about it. If that son had planned, and if you were told about such plans, would you support him? Would you say, okay, go, start your chapter 2? Or will you say, are you crazy? Would you not say, are you absurd to think the unthinkable and to put yourself and your family into that big mess all over again, right? Would you not say that? I think we would all be really going crazy with him. Well, that is exactly what Apostle Paul is trying to raise in his argument in Romans 6 with Christians who were in Rome. Because in chapter 5 and 6, Apostle Paul is describing to them about justification by faith, how God, did all kinds of ways to bring about change in human lives. And Apostle Paul says, because of what God in Jesus Christ did for us, we have been declared justified. That means we have been cleared free from sin. And therefore, Apostle Paul is saying, therefore, if that is the case, if that is what God was willing to do for us, should we continue to live in sin? That is the question that Apostle Paul is raising. And that is the reason why I re-edited the prodigal son story to say there is a chapter 2. There isn't. But we can easily make an assumption and create a story that there is a chapter 2 and he's thinking and planning. And because my Father is gracious, that he is willing to forgive. Oh, that is God. Maybe God is calling us. That was, I don't know why it rang. So you see, now it interrupted my thought. So, what Apostle Paul is trying to say to Christians is that justification is a judicial language. It is a courtroom language where a person is declared innocent by the judge after hearing, delivering everything that went on, and at the end, judge says, you are declared innocent, and the gavel hits. Right? It's a judicial language, declaratory statement. It is not a sentimental word. It is not something we can spiritualize it. It is a very declaratory statement. You are free. You are innocent. Your peers have found you innocent. Paul is saying, God in Jesus Christ gave that declaratory statement that you and I are innocent. Sins are forgiven. Does it make sense now? It's a very, very powerful statement. And therefore, he's saying to Christians in Rome, don't take your salvation lightly. Because in baptism, then Apostle Paul goes back to baptism to really explain what happened. Baptism is not just a very sentimental ritual of the church where we throw some water and baptize you and then make you the child of God and then make you the member of this. No, it's deeper than that. It is more concrete than that. Apostle Paul is saying, when you are baptized, when Jesus was crucified and buried, we were crucified and buried with him. When we were baptized in the water, we ourselves went with it. And then when Jesus rose from the dead, Apostle Paul is saying, we also rose with a newness of life. It's a very concrete explanation. And therefore, Apostle Paul is, don't take your baptism lightly. Don't take your salvation lightly. It is more heavier than you realize it. Isn't that awesome to hear that? You know? Sometimes we are very flimsy in the way we think and rationalize faith, salvation, whatever, you know. But Apostle Paul is saying, no, that is pretty serious stuff. Second story. Children of Israel, they were in slavery for 350 years. In the what should I say, strong grip of the Pharaoh. Children of Israel in Egypt, they were oppressed exploited. What else? They were in misery, discriminated. And so, out or from that environment, children of Israel prayed to God for deliverance and to give them a land, a promise where milk and honey will flow to no end. Right? And God, out of nowhere, brings this Moses to negotiate deliverance with Pharaoh, and it was not an easy task. It was like pulling a tooth, right? It was hard. And when finally Pharaoh relented and the children of Israel were marching towards Zion, to the promised land, to the land of milk and honey, as they turn back, they see Egyptians, cavalry, wielding their swords and coming towards them. Now you have to go and watch the movie Moses or something like that, right? So children of Israel is saying, okay, we are dead meat. There is going to be a bloodbath. They are going faster, walking faster maybe. And then they realized, oh no, we are really dead meat, because in front of us is a Dead Sea. We have to cross the Dead Sea to the other side so that we can be safe from these soldiers. Think about it. Moses talks to God. What the heck are you trying to do to us? The American slang, right? Can you tell me what your plan? And God said, well, just raise your hand on the water, and I'll do something, And that's what he does. Moses raised his hand, and then Red Sea parts, and the children of Israel had this very safe passage to the other side of the Red Sea. But they were not home yet. But they were on a safe passage. Later on, in the wilderness, children of Israel constantly complains, murmurs, and grumbles, and fights, and whatnot. And all of them are saying, you just brought us here to the wilderness to be killed. Why don't you just let us go? We can go back to Egypt. So the question is, Apostle Paul is raised, why would you want to go back to Egypt when you have lived a miserable 350 years, and what you lived through, experienced through? Why on earth do you really want to go back? You have even passed the Red Sea. God led you. And why on earth would you rather want to go back and relive the same thing all over again? And of course, with a good mind like us, we can say, yeah, that kind of sucks. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. And so Apostle Paul is saying, do you, as a saved person of God, want to continue to live in sin? Do you want to go back and live the way you used to live? And you and I will say, no, that was a miserable life. That was not great. I don't want to go back. I don't want to resume the life I used to live. I'm happy here. Not that my world is hunky-dory, but I love my life right now, and God is good. If that is the case, if that is your ascending words of affirmation, then Apostle Paul is saying, die to sin, live for God. Do and be something powerful, transforming agents in this life. Be a good news. Don't live your life as if you have umpteen regrets. Somebody just asked me yesterday, do you have any regrets? If you were to start all over again, how would you do it? I said, I'm not going to change one thing. I'm not going to change one thing. I'm not saying my life was perfect, but I'm not going to change it. Why? Because I learned every little things from every little events, good, bad, and ugly. Those experiences formed me. I am who I am because I lived it. And therefore, I am a stronger person. I'm a better person, I hope. You know? And so, Apostle Paul is saying, then live it. Live it. Don't think to go back. Don't imagine to go back. Don't even talk about going back. Churches that go back doesn't grow. But churches that have a brave, tenacious spirit to look forward and march forward, they grow. We cannot constantly think about, oh, last year was better. 10 years were better. No. The world doesn't go this way. The world goes this way. Right? That's what we do. That is what we should all do. Amen? I'm done.